Yeah, I'll always be a metalhead. Nothing can take that away from me.
Right.
I mean, not jail, not people, not religion, not anything. I'll always be a metalhead. Metalhead leaves you all alive.
You're listening to the Great Metal Debate Podcast.
Welcome back, Metalheads, to a new episode of the Great Metal Debate Podcast. It's Xander back with a new underground metal album review. Today, we'll be talking about Lenax, the Nashville-based black metal quartet, with their debut full-length titled Infection. Some of you might remember the interview I did last summer with this band after they wrapped up filming for their music video, Beneath the Chapel. I, of course, was the extra for that music video. I'm the bald one with the blue checkered flannel. Anyway, let's dive into the new material. Well, actually, before I do, I'd like to provide some context to this album's overall themes. While Lenax certainly isn't the first black metal band to tackle Lovecraftian-based lyrics, they do so in a very different way. The lead vocalist and guitarist, known as Venomous, told me after a recent live show with Dead Alive that he explored cosmic horror by means of astral projection. Well, not exactly in the Hollywood movie sort of way, but more of a grounded and more meditative sort of way. He told me that there were parts of this album that he doesn't remember writing the riffs for because he felt like his mind was teleported to another dimension. He felt as though he had traveled to a realm where no man has ever wandered. It sounds very scary in an extraterrestrial sort of way, and the sounds feed on dark energy. That's some frightening shit. Let's give this album a listen. The opening track, titled Worship Him, hymn spelled like a church hymn, at first I thought Venomous' statement was just a gimmick because it sounded like another black metal song to me. That is until I gave this album the standard 5 listen-throughs. That's when I began to really pick up on details that I had previously missed. There isn't much for the opener, but I will explain some upcoming examples. But before I move on to the next track, I will say that the chime sound at the beginning and end of the song is a nice touch. Leeches was a single that was originally released last year, and I had seen them perform the song a couple times live. But this remaster sounds a lot more crisp than the previous recording, as this is a remaster album version of the track. Definitely the most memorable part of this groovy black metal song was the short-lived kind of breakdown where the music calms down for a second, and the listener can hear a very specific lyric. Behold, followers of the dead God, I have nailed his bloody corpse to the cross, and no one is coming back to save you. I know that line is more evil than Lovecraftian, but stick around because, while I may not have picked up on every lyric, I know that they are here. But here is something else for you to keep in mind. I've only ever read one H.P. Lovecraft story. It was At the Mountains of Madness, and that was like 6 years ago, and I have forgotten everything about it. Oddly enough, I do own a physical copy of the novella, The Case of Charles Dexter Ward, but I never read it. As for Cthulhu, I know it's some sort of giant sea monster that looks like a colossal green man with an octopus head. I don't know for certain, but I have heard that humanity is nothing more than Cthulhu's dream, and when he wakes up, we will all cease to exist. But that's where the extent of my knowledge of H.P. Lovecraft's work ends. I don't know anything else about anything else he has ever put out. Perhaps I should listen to the audiobook of his complete works, but right now, that's a 52-hour commitment that I don't have time for. I will say that the song Chains has a moment of deep vocals scattered among the traditional high-pitched screams. To me, that was a standout moment, and I liked the solo too. Crossroad Black is yet another banger, and the track Hive Mind Apocalypse has both head-bobbing groove leads from the guitars and demonically possessed vocals. I also love how towards the end of this track we can clearly hear the bass lines. We Are Legion is another single that dropped last year, and I watched this band play this live. Yet again, with this album version, we have a cleaner sound. In a way, I was slightly reminded of the song We Are Legion Out for Blood by Arch Enemy. I'm of course referring to the band's golden age with Angela Gasso on vocals, but whenever Venomous screeches, "We are Legion," it sounded similar, but definitely not the same. Plaguebearer has parts with Venomous chanting some of the lyrics in a rhythmic way. Overdrive is a killer instrumental that serves as a precursor to the conclusionary track, and once more, I really hear the bass. I wish more black metal bands would let their bassists be heard. Lastly, we have Throne to the Forsaken, another epic black metal track that kicks you in the face with its hard and fast playing style. Lenax's debut album titled Infection will be available for purchase on Bandcamp June 25th. If you feel like supporting these guys, which you definitely should do, buy this record and the t-shirts they have. Also, if you live in the Nashville area, they frequently play local shows. Follow them on their social media for news about upcoming events.